Afternoon. So this is going to be an odd video, as maybe all of my videos are, for some. And like all my videos, they offer a perspective, a vantage point. And there's generally paradoxes within all vantage points. So don't take everything I say as absolute truth, but look into it for yourself. Feel what is said. Let whatever integrates integrate, and whatever doesn't, let it go. So I'm going to call this video, What is a Question? Sounds like a weird question, but follow along. Now, wouldn't you say, when you ask a question, it feels real? Like it's actually asking something that is there. Like you almost have a belief that the question you're asking actually has an objective, real, or actual something on the end of it that you're asking about. For example, what is God? Who is God? What is God about? Now, for some of you, it probably triggers something. Like, oh, yeah, I've wondered that. I have some answers to that. But do you actually know if there is something called a God to ask a question about? Or even the question, what is God about? What is about? Like, what is an about? Like, is that even a real thing? A real phenomenon that exists as a reality? And I'm not trying to play a linguistical game, but what is an about? What is a God? Now, I'm sure if you asked a million people, you'd get a variety of answers. Each one would have a different answer to what they mean by God, and even what they mean by an about. Let me go into what I mean by an about. Like what is something about? Like you have a story. What's the story about? Like it brings up this notion of something's about something. Like there's a story. There's a reason, a purpose, a direction, a point. So when we ask this question, what is God about? We're asking two things we don't actually generally know even exist to begin with. We presume that there's a God and that actually life or God could be about something. And these are two notions that may not actually match up with anything. Yet we ask it with the belief that there's something actually to get an answer about, or to get an answer. But reality may not actually match up with any of those. It's like asking, how does the pink elephant in the mirror taste? Well, you probably know that things in a mirror don't taste like anything because they're not there. So the question actually has no reality that can give you an answer to it. So, what is a question? Does it actually have real content? For example, again, we ask, who am I? What am I about? What do I like? Already, we have ideas that there's truth to this question of a I being about something. But it's not proof that you are there. Or that you, first of all, are you there? And if you are, what is there? And if you are there, could it be about something? You don't even know to begin with, yet we ask this question about ourselves a lot. Somehow it arises, is asked, believed, experienced, searched for. I dropped something. So, what is a question? Are any questions actually pointing to anything? Well, you may say, well, okay, well, let's narrow it down to something more concrete. Okay. What is anything that is concrete? Like, what is concrete? First, you have to define what you mean by concrete, because concrete isn't something that has any meaning to it to begin with. Where you go, oh well, concrete is something solid. Okay, well, what is solid? Well, solid is something I can push and it has sensation and substance. Okay, well, like a dream? No, not dreaming, because that's in my head and I'm dreaming it. Even though it has the same content, feeling, substance, experience. But no, okay. I mean something I'm not dreaming that I can touch and I feel it and it's solid. Okay. Well, what's solid under those criteria? Well, of course, a chair, a block, a ball. Well, even science doesn't agree with that it's solid. Well, at least you can hold it and you can measure it and you can, yeah, you can do these things with it. Okay, well, I'll go with that. Okay, so we'll accept that you are real, because that isn't proven yet. And then, okay, it's solid and experiential, which is not a dream, because those have the same qualities too, but those are in your head, as according to you. And it's solid, okay, and it's measurable. But science doesn't necessarily agree with that either. So, who are you citing to ask the question of something being solid? You still haven't quite yet pointed to what you mean by solid, or cited a proof to talk about it as solid. Because there's something called quantum physics that has shown that things are very much not solid and not quite as fixed and straightforward. There's a lot of randomness and chaos that is in theories that kind of try to explain measurements and space and time And it's just the current vantage point of what we kind of know. But yeah, get back to the question of what is solid, concrete, real to talk about, to ask a question about. Because again, your question already comes from a belief of something being real to begin with. Like a ball. What is a ball? What is solid? Even even the idea of when you say what is conjures up notions of something. Oh, what is a sentence that points to something else. That's the definition of a what is. But some other person might not agree with that. So what is a what is? Which allows for this experience, or begins the experience of a question into something that you don't even know is there to begin with that you're asking about. What is blank? Well, first of all, what is a what is? And then the blank that you talk about, well, what is that? I mean, this is definitely getting into the linguistical mindfuckery and confusionaryness of reality. But I think if you really look into what I'm saying, many things will start to disintegrate. The reality of a language, the reality of something that you believe is there, that you're pointing to, that you believe you're asking about, that is actually there, that has a there to give you information about it, such as an I, a yourself, a solid, a God. All these are linguistical, dreamy notions that feel real, that feel like they're being asked about something objectively, or being asked about something that's objectively there, that it could then give you information back that would give answers to the question. But again, is that even true to begin with? Are there things out there to give information back to you from a question? So that's something to mull over. I know for a lot of you it'll disturb you. You're like, this guy is fucking whack and crazy. It doesn't even make sense. I'm just gonna go back to what I know, who I am, asking questions about things that I believe are there. That's okay. Because life is also part of this dream and adventure of being in something like you call a dream. Like you dive into a dream and you're like, I'm so free, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm in reality now. But you're actually in a type of dream. A dream that you should enjoy as well, because, well, I'm not going to give you the because I don't really know exactly the because. But nonetheless, if you're really interested in reality, I encourage you to look into some of what I pointed to. Alright, well that was fun. I hope it was fun for you too. Take care.